This is the Used Car Dealer Podcast.
Hello, Zach here, and we have a great guest on the podcast today, Alex Vetter, who's the CEO of Cars.com, which is a publicly traded automotive marketplace company. In addition to their marketplace for used and new cars, Cars.com has also acquired Dealer Inspire, Dealer Rater, and recently announced their newest business, Fuel. Prior to becoming CEO in 2014, Alex served in a number of senior management roles from Cars.com. Alex, thank you so much for joining the podcast today. How are you doing?
Zach, it's good to see you. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. So let's get started. And for those of us listening, talk about how you got into Cars.com in the early days and eventually became the CEO.
Well, look, I've been in the business for nearly 20 years. We've seen multiple forms of ownership that I've helped navigate. And as you pointed out, most recently taking the company public. But I literally am in love with the business, mostly because I'm in love with the customers. Small business operators has been my DNA my whole life. I was raised by entrepreneurs. Most technology companies, Zach, have done harm to small business by cutting them out. And we aspire to be one of the biggest technology companies that actually helps local businesses fight back and compete against these pure technologists who really don't care about the role of small business owners in our community.
2020 was a roller coaster of year for dealers. Talk to me about what you've observed from your lens at Cars.com and the way consumers interacted and purchased vehicles from dealerships, especially independents.
Yeah, look, I think 2020 was a surreal year on a number of fronts. But I think if I had to step back and look for the silver linings, I think a couple things came through. Number one, first and foremost, it shows the resilience of local dealerships. They are some of the most entrepreneurial people I know. They are so resilient, and they showed their agility by shifting more towards digital platforms. And certainly we saw that as well. We were all being forced to shelter at home, practicing safe social distancing. And so digital platforms from users also skyrocketed. And our traffic had the highest gain ever in terms of during a pandemic year. And obviously that's because people feared public transportation. They wanted to buy cars. They wanted to either get another car for their home, or they wanted to find a new one that was safer than the one that they had. And so, both sides of our business took off. Consumer adoption to these digital platforms took off, and dealer adoption of digital tools to communicate with those people from their homes also took off.
How is Cars.com's strategy differentiated from other marketplaces like CarGurus or TrueCar?
Well, look, I don't like to be compared to those platforms. Ultimately, we're a different animal. With Dealer Inspire, our Dealer Rater business, our Fuel business, all of our technology companies are really designed to do one thing, which is to help dealers differentiate on other dimensions than just price. And if you look at some of the marketplaces that are out there, they're very gimmicky in trying to manipulate users to make you believe that they can get you some secret deal, or that they know a good deal or a bad deal. And at the end of the day, we think that dimension of the internet has long passed. Not that price isn't important; it's critical. But the disparity in pricing online today is minuscule. Dealers know this. They're running razor thin margin businesses. So our platform and all of our technologies and tools are designed to help dealers compete on other dimensions. Why buy attributes? Dealer Rater really communicates the experiences that dealers, users can get through the dealerships on our platforms. Cars.com, we don't withhold dealers' information. We actually promote it. Which is why Cars.com drives 3 times the amount of traffic directly into the dealer's website. We're not withholding that information in order to gin up a lead and tell you we're number one in leads. And so, all of our businesses, and Dealer Inspire, right? I mean, it's about building state-of-the-art websites so independent dealers can stand out. All of my businesses share that ethos, which is enough's enough from these big platforms sucking profits out of the dealership. and giving back pennies. Our businesses are all about helping the dealership differentiate, promote, and compete on a level playing field.
You mentioned something interesting. A lot of dealers would look at how many leads, for instance, they got in a total month. But talk about the importance of attribution. And some dealers, they might not even know what that means and what attribution means for you.
Well, that's right. I mean, most of the early internet businesses have focused on lead gen as the primary source of value, and dealers obsess about volume of leads and conversion ratio. But if you actually step back and think about the consumer experience, number one, and then number two, you think about how dealerships have consistently reported to us where they drive the greatest source of sales. Universally, what I hear from dealerships across the country is that traffic or leads that come from their own website convert at 4 to 5 times the rate than they can get from other sources. Meaning, if you can get a customer onto your own website, dealerships overwhelmingly say that's the highest closing ratio of any other source. And that goes right at the core of the design of the Cars.com platform. Number one, we don't run a race to the bottom, right? We give a level playing field. So I don't care if you're a 30 car lot or 300 cars, we give you equal footing, and we don't manipulate our search results based on bogus deal badges to try to get dealers to lower the price of their car to get more volume. And so when you look at our site, you'll see that we actually are focused on getting people to the store. In that store, we're actually indifferent if they'll physically come to your lot, or they'll go into your digital dealership through your website. And through Dealer Inspire, we have very visible data about which marketplaces are actually focused on driving traffic into the dealer's website. And again, we're driving 3 times the amount of people from our marketplace directly into the dealer's website, which dealers know they convert at a higher rate. And too often dealers, I think, are getting caught up in the lead game. And again, we generate tons of leads, phone calls, emails. But increasingly, consumers, they want to know who they're doing business with. They do want to visit your website. They do want to come visit your showroom. And we think that we're not going to manipulate users to do business the way we want. We want to get people to the dealership however they want to do business: email, phone call, or go to your website or go to your storefront. And if you look at the design, you'll see that Cars.com promotes the dealership a hell of a lot more than those other platforms.
What have you guys been working on with the Dealer Inspire brand in terms of digital retail and allowing dealers to interface with customers online?
Well, look, I think COVID really has accelerated consumer desire to do more of the process online. And so our online shopper platform really takes the consumer through a lot more of the workflow online. What's exciting about online shopper through Dealer Inspire is that digital retail technology can sit on your dealer's website, but it can also be dropped into our marketplace, Cars.com, so that you're sourcing traffic and sales through both platforms into a common workflow. We don't think dealers need another widget. They don't need another process to manage. They've got to focus on selling cars. And so, part of the beauty of our platform strategy is that we can distribute technology once, and dealers can manage it through a single back end. So our technology can reside in any environment, and really that's the genesis of our strategy, is that distributed technology, singular use case for dealers, make it easier for dealers to operate, fewer vendors, and simplified process.
Talk to me about the amount of in-market shoppers that visit Cars.com and how a small independent dealership could be competitive and visible through Cars.
Well, look, I think first and foremost, Cars.com has a brand that's synonymous with the category. So with very little effort, we're getting 25 to 30 million shoppers on our site every month. Over 85% of those shoppers are going to buy a car within 6 months, and over half of those are actually going to do it within 30 days. So, first and foremost, there's no more fertile environment to reach car buyers than our platform. I think, the vast majority of our traffic is used cars. It accounts for over 75% of our search share, and it's trending up, by the way, in January. And so, we've got tons of shoppers that are looking for used cars. I think the biggest thing that dealers need to know is that we're the level playing field. We really don't cater our search results to how much you spend. We don't cater our search results based on gimmicks or tricks to get users to engage. We get your inventory and your brand out there in front of the market, and we let the user control the search results and the search experience.
Two auto trends that have taken mind share in 2020, and wanted to get your thoughts on them. Online car dealers like Carvana and Vroom, and they've taken the public markets by storm. And then the subscription model for automotive. What are your thoughts on these two kind of hot topic trends?
Well, look, I think there's both a challenge and an opportunity. Certainly, digital-only dealerships do not have physical infrastructure that they have to spend money on, so they can spend more money in marketing and advertising to compete. Right? They're running virtual dealerships, and therefore they're really running without a brick and mortar operation. And I think that's a challenge, but it's also the opportunity. What 2020 showed is that digital platforms are the overwhelming preference for consumers in terms of not only searching for what they buy, but doing more of the process online. And this is where we come in. We want to help digitize dealerships so that they too can compete on these big platforms and these big opportunities, because look, community matters. Local dealerships, we think, are vital parts of our ecosystem in this country. Dealerships give back. They employ a lot of people in the local community. We want to be an enabler for them. We want them to be able to continue to run their businesses locally, but to leverage the strength of our huge national technology investments. And so there's no reason why the smallest dealership can't compete with the biggest dealership, as long as they're upfront, transparent, honest, and take care of their customers. We can bring the technology and the customers to you.
I love that. And what is Cars.com doing that uniquely helps independent dealers compete in the used car marketplace?
Yeah, look, I think number one is we don't run a race to the bottom. Some of these sites, they basically will tell you either spend more money to get more, or lower the price of your car to get more. In both of those cases, when they're saying the same thing to every dealership, they're running a giant race to the bottom. I think what's unique about us is actually we care about the local dealer, keeping them at the center of our communities. We want to give them a level playing field that doesn't care about how much they spend or their relative size. And I think that's an advantage, right? That we're democratizing vehicle sales so that everybody can compete, and we're doing it without making the dealer to be out the bad guy. Some of these sites make dealers out to be distrustful, that you need their service in order to get a great deal. And that's not our ethos. We know that, look, we'll let users rate their experience with the dealership. So if they do have a bad experience, they can spout off about that through either Dealer Rater or Cars.com. But what we actually know about dealerships is they run great businesses. They take care of their customers. And as long as they're doing that, they're going to get rewarded by positive sentiment and user reviews. And so we let customers rank dealerships. Our platform just provides that level playing field. And I think that's the advantage that independent dealers need.
What are some of your predictions, Alex, for 2021? And also, what's coming down the pipeline at Cars.com?
Well, look, I think there's definitely a new generation that's coming into the market that are expecting digital first experiences. I've been in this industry for a long time and had to pull a lot of dealerships into the internet. And what I'll tell you today is we're done pulling. If you're not focused on running a digital first business, you're going to be losing market share. Consumers are overwhelmingly expecting these digital experiences, and particularly the newer generations. I think dealerships have also got to learn how to meet users where they are. The vast majority of users, because of COVID, are expecting dealers to bring it to them. Home delivery is here to stay. We've seen more dealers adopt the value prop of home delivery, mirroring some of these big national dealerships, but they can do it on a hyper local basis. Same day home delivery. If you're in a market and someone wants a car in your lot, as long as it's within a realistic, distance, there's no reason that dealerships can't deliver cars. And certainly there are services that can offer, out of market delivery. So I think that's going to be a trend that's here to stay. And certainly the use of mobile. I think, dealerships spend a lot of time on desktop computers, but increasingly, I think they've got to really focus on where the majority of people are spending their time, and that's on these mobile devices. And we're proud that we've got the number one app in the category, and our mobile platforms, really have taken off, and our Dealer Inspire websites are being built with a mobile first infrastructure behind it, so we can help dealers really compete on mobile platforms.
That's awesome. And Alex, was there anything that I haven't mentioned that you like to discuss that you think is very timely for independent dealers?
Well, look, I think no, I think he asked a lot of great questions. I think independent dealers, have got to be focused not only on how they can stay relevant for users, but how they can run their stores profitably. And we see so many dealers running with so many vendors to try to run their digital operation. And I know Cars.com is a name, but when you think about our business, our ecosystem with DealerRater, Dealer Inspire, Cars.com, and Fuel, we truly do have all the tools that dealers need so they can reduce the number of vendors that they're working with and ultimately focus more on retail sales. It's fortunate that profitability is up across our industry, but we think we can help dealers, eliminate duplicate services and consolidate some of their vendors and get more for their money. And so I think, if there's a dealer listing out there that wants to talk to us, you can reach out to me directly, Alex at Cars. I'm happy to connect you with our teams, or certainly any of our websites have ways that you can reach out. We have partnerships with all the major platforms that can help extend your reach. And, we're here to serve. We really know running a local business is not easy day in and day out. Technology should be an empowering force, not something that taxes you more to run your store. And that's what we're all about. We're here to help.
Well said, Alex. And it's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you and have you on the Used Car Dealer podcast. Thank you so much.
Zach, thank you very much, and look forward to working with you more.